Yes, sir. I got greatness. Yeah, and that's how we rocking. You know what I'm saying? Hey, yo, hold up, man. You see all this greatness behind me? You see all this greatness around me? Feel all the greatness over there where you at? TV land, internet viewership. This is your boy, Young Hump. And I'm on this upcoming episode of I Only Touch Greatness with my brother Ryan and my brother Royale with Cheese. I love y'all, and I want y'all to know what time it is. Peace and humpiness forever.
Why you trying to touch my nose? I don't really trust you hoes. It's nutty how shit goes. It shows those my motherfucking clothes. You's a little punk bitch. Me, I'm on my Prince shit. Stranger trying to touch my hair? No, this some pimp shit. Take your ass around the block, come back and we can try again. That shit still applying when a chick's a perfect dime of 10. Still gotta have a breath fresh. Trying to get up in my face, get out my face. Hit that Rite Aid, mouthwash on aisle 4. If you ain't got good deodorant, what you trying to get wild for? You need to quit fix, love. You see, I had it ready for you. It's all fixed up. You love that scented candle. And what a gentleman will whisper while he beat the pussy lovingly. The whole time you rubbing me.
I'm trying to slow stroke it. Check out a pro poke it. I'm always in her purse. I guess I'm so Oakland.
I'm Hollywood swinging, swinging my wood swinging. I'm known for humming while I'm humming. Check me. I just want $100. So pull your panties down, and I'm gonna do the knowledge. What I say? Come here, hands on your rear. Undo Brazil, my love. When you wear my Raider hat, ask for the dick. You know what I'm gonna say to that. Come here. Throw on some clothes and pose for a pic. Go for a stroll while our juices replenish. And in a couple of minutes we in bed, right back to business. Come here.
You're tuning into I Only Touch Greatness podcast, Vancouver's best show with Ryan Hayes.
Often imitated but never duplicated, I Only Touch Greatness podcast.
Scan the code and follow.
Yo, the mayor's in town, Ryan Hayes.
What up?
Oh, shit. We got multiple. Okay, so people actually was able to make it today. I love it.
Yes. Right.
Yeah. I seen you got Pac, Nipsey, they in the building. We in this thing. What's up,
yeah,
fellas?
most definitely. Doing good. What's up with you, man?
Hey, now do me a favor real quick, man, because I'll be bad with names. I never forget a face, but I want y'all to remind me both of y'all names so I make sure I'm correct and shit.
Hey, so as I was gonna say, I'm Ryan up here in Vancouver, Canada. I'm the one that's been talking to you.
Right.
Yeah, and then Prince Allen is my co-host in Kansas City.
Yeah, I'm in Kansas City. Royalty New Rules on the IG, but
born and raised in LA. What was childhood like for you growing up?
Oh man, this is West LA on the microphone 1212. LA, man. I'm proud to be from my city. You know, the greatest city on the planet. I said that, and everybody's supposed to feel like that about their city, but I definitely got a city to feel like that about. It's a lot of LA haters, but whatever. You know what I mean? I love it, man. I mean, growing up in LA, man, it's like I grew up in a real nice area. You know what I mean? So you never hear Young Hump, kicking no fake childhood ghetto struggle story. My struggle has been more in recent times getting this paper together. But I grew up real, nice and comfortable, so was allowed to flourish in my artistic endeavors. And, I love it out here, man. It's, purple and gold on mine.
Okay. Yeah. When did you first know you wanted to make music for your career?
You said when was before I got into rapping and shit, I was a comic book dude. I used to want to draw comic books, and I realized at a certain point I was more into the writing than I was into the tedious drawing. And it was like I always loved rap, and just I don't remember the first time I rapped, but I remember the first time me and my homie sat down and decided to write a rap, and I never stopped. He just did it that one time, but I stuck with it. And really, at the beginning, it wasn't even on some make music. It was just rap. And I just wanted to rap. And then I just slowly was like, I want to make some songs. So then that became, but really, it wasn't even songs. It was like recordings of me rapping, because it's kind of like a difference, you know what I mean? Like there's music. It's like there's recordings of you rapping, there's songs, and then there's music. If that makes sense, because some people make songs, but songs are like little empanadas or little hot pockets, little tacos. It's not really like music is when you make a meal. Music is a meal, you know what I mean? A song is just like a little Pop-Tart. Throw it in the microwave. I got 16 to 8 or 16 to 8, and then be talking some shit on the outro. But music is like you actually have something more for it than that. Anyways, yeah, so I guess that probably came at like maybe when I was like maybe like I really started thinking about songs. Like I was rapping at 14, like seriously, but I was just rapping, just raps. All it was about was my lyricals and my lyricals and my lyricals. That's all it was. And then, and then later it became songs. It's probably like maybe like 18, something like that, 19. So I had about 4 years of just fucking rapping sets, not even thinking about the songs.
So who were you then before Young Hump?
I don't understand that question, but I'll tell you what. I'll say that Mike Epps once said in the movie, "I've been pimping since pimping been pimping." And Pumpernickel's been around for a long time, man. I'll break down. I'm gonna give y'all a fabulous breakdown of what it is. And I told this to my big bro, Edward Ellington. I told this to Edward Ellington at one point. I said, he listened to it and it was amazing. I said that, the Hump energy is like this. It's a spirit that goes back, I don't know how long, thousands of years. I'll put it like this to make it make sense. Think about like the famous comedians and court gestures of the time. If you go back in time, right, you watch Game of Thrones, or you watch those periods of time where like, a motherfucker might be a king for 6 weeks and nigga chop his head off, somebody poison a motherfucker, this and that. Kings was coming and going, but it'd be those, the famous Sepelio that traveled from town to town on horseback and pulled out the little stage show and set up like, Barnum and Bailey type shit. Them niggas would fuck around and be around town for, 60 years doing that shit. It's like Hump is that. Hump exists through different presidential terms and different kingdoms and different ways they split up the land and decreed the government. Fuck all that, man. Hump is some shit that's like eternal. And you know what I mean? Like it was a beautiful, beautiful blessing that, my big bro, Edward Ellington, the third, he he slid it over me. So I'm that boy humping nickels. So that's really the easiest way for me to answer the question. Because the only way I can answer it more than that, I'd have to go with like, see all these trees. What I could do is I could like, go to the bottom of one of these trees and we could count how many rings are around the side of the tree. And that kind of explains the science of the humpernickel. We've been doing this for a long time, man. Humpernickel gets his bread, you know. So we out here.
Great, you're up. Shoot one, bud.
Yeah, glad to just hear from you, man. So I have a buddy, you know what I'm saying? And I was thinking about it because he's always tell me like funny moments about Shock G and stuff. Like, what was one of the funniest moments you remember whenever your earlier years, going with him? Like, how double it? Because shout out to DJ Pizzo. Because I talked to DJ Pizzo, you know what I'm saying? That's the guy. That's the big
shout
bro.
Out to Pizzo, yeah.
Right. He tells me crazy stories. Oh yeah, of course.
I'll tell you a funny story.
Yeah.
So I rocked with him one time, and I slid to the event with him, and we're there. I mean, my nigga Smooth B was there, and a few other people was there. Anyways, we rocked, and I came with him. So after a while, I noticed I ain't seen the guard in a second. I'm like, where my nigga at? And so I hit him. I'm like, yo, where you at? I text him, and he's like, yo, I had to leave. I wasn't feeling good. I'm like, and at first I'm like, nigga, I came with you, but I'm like, you good? He's like, I don't know, man. I ain't feeling good. My stomach is just, I don't know. It's kind of crazy. So I'm like, well, damn, bro. I'm texting back. I'm like, damn, bro, if you good, man, you got maybe some activated charcoal or some shit, some shit, hook that stomach up. Then he sends me another text like, yo, bro, I don't know. I don't know. This is serious. I might have to go to the hospital or something. I'm like, I don't know what's going on. And then like he dramatically, because Shock had jokes. He like dramatically he wrote the text in a way where it looked frantic, like the last couple words were like weird letters. And I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh shit. Then like I get this video sent to me, like a video. Now, if anybody knew Shock, knows Shock, is Shock's thing is that Shock would more likely send you a video of him talking to you than send you a text. Like he texts, but like he'd be big on like, let's say you send him a song or you're talking about a movie, anything like that, nigga have a lot to say, so he didn't want to sit there and be writing for an hour, so he might just record himself talking to you. So him sending you a video was like a common thing. And so he sent me this video. So when I get it, so I'm saying, so it's not like unusual to get a video from him. So I get this video, and it's like this how the video starts. It's like this. It's like, oh, I don't know what's going on, man. I feel crazy. I don't know what's going on. And then he goes like this with his arm, and he's got like a fake mosquito toy on his arm. And he's like, I don't know, this motherfucker just flew in my window, but he had me going for like the first like 30 seconds, and I'm like, my nigga, like, I'm watching this shit like, because I hadn't been to his hotel yet, so I'm my mind is flushing like, what hotel is he at? I don't even know where he's at. I was like, Shock is crazy, man. He had jokes, man. Shock had jokes. And
I've been hearing a lot of stories, but when DJ Pizzo be telling me a lot of them, and I'll be like, I was like, I'm so crazy. I was like, it's so crazy. He's just talking about them because, coming where I'm from, like we huge, Digital Underground fans. So right. When we hear anything from them, and we be like, we can, what I'm saying? It's always funny when we hear that. It's always inspiring, like for real. Like, what was one of what was one of your favorite like
Digital Underground songs?
Yeah.
My favorite song?
Of Digital Underground.
Oh, hands down, without question, Do What You Like. Oh. I'm that Do What You Like. That's my shit. I love Do What. That's my favorite Digital Underground song. I mean, look, the Humpty Dance
is your song.
Is different because it's like the Humpty Dance is like, it's almost like not even a song. I mean, it's weirdest.
Like a national anthem.
Yeah, you know what I mean? It's like something that's bigger. Like, so, I mean, so, in a way, technically, I'm not saying that I like Do What You Like more than I like the Humpty Dance, but to me, Do What You Like is more like, it's like the spirit. Humpty Dance is like a performance of a person at a party. Do What You Like is like the party actually speaking itself.
Yeah.
You know, like Do What You Like is like if wallpaper could rap. It sounds like you know, like if these walls could talk. That's what Do What You Like is. Humpty Dance is the nigga that goes from spot to spot telling you what the party is. So for me, when I listen to Do What You Like, I get more absorbed in the culture that, and when I say culture, I mean like just party, but hip hop, fun, wild, just energetic shit. That shit is just like so that's my favorite DU song. You know what I mean? And of course, to go with it, you know, Same Song and Kiss You Back, and then also low key Tie the Knots. Tie the Knot is one of my shit. I love that. That's a slept on classic.
Yeah, that's the most slept on one. I'd be listening to that because I remember watching Nothing But Trouble, and I remember when they came out. You know what I'm saying? John Candy comes out with them talking about tie the knot, tie the knot. You know, my favorite always going to be Sex Package, the first one off that album,
and of course Freaks of the Industry. I mean,
Sex Package is always going to be my shit.
Yeah, and Freaks of the Industry. I mean, it's like, you know, it's when you get to picking those, it's like pick your favorite Wu-Tang song, pick your favorite NWA song, pick your favorite,
or pick your favorite Beatnuts song, because I know that they're a big part of your life growing up. I believe.
You know,
we just had Psycho Les on the podcast a couple weeks ago. So
let me tell you something. I famously said before that, you know, Wu-Tang is my favorite rap group, but after Wu-Tang, it's the Beatnuts. And it's like the Beatnuts. I mean, you know, DU, I'm part of DU, so I'm not going to say DU like that. But I love Beatnuts, and I could go on and on, but I'll just say a quick couple things about Beatnuts that I want to say that I just want everybody to know why I love them so much. Is because when I think of the Beatnuts, it's Les and Juju. Now, shout outs to Al Tariq, a.k.a. Cool Fash, who was very lovely on Street Level album. But really, the Beatnuts is a two-man out. Shout out to VIC, but really, Beatnuts is a duo. And like, you know, I mean, in hip hop, the duos, you have some unstoppable duos. Like, really, hip hop is like all my favorite shit is duos. I mean, you got Mobb Deep, you got Dog Pound, you got Nice and Smooth. You know, I mean, go on and on with the ill, MOP, like the ill duos are just ridiculous. But I was gonna say Smith and Wesson. I mean, Jesus Christ, we can stay in Brownsville just for a minute and do Smooth the Hustler and Trigger. But okay, so. But Beatnuts, why I fuck with the Beatnuts on another level is both them niggas make the beats though. And it's like I'm a real professor and student of this production. So like for me, I'm not talking about like, you know, what makes somebody greater. Cause look, there are MCs that as an MC are greater than people that rhyme, produce, mix, master, do the artwork. It's, you know, greatness is not about how many ways you can slice it. It's about how tasty the greatness is. But when you're dealing with them boys, I mean, both of them have iconic production just as members of Beatnuts, but they also have classic iconic joints for other artists. Like Juju produced One for Ghostface. One, and it only takes one. Like people don't be thinking about that shit. He produced was a Dream Shatterer for Big Pun. You know, fucking Psycho Les produced New World Water. He produced Nod Factor for Mad Skills. I mean, it's just like we can go on and on and on and on about the bangers outside of just Beatnuts. And so that's kind of what separates them and makes them my personal favorite over the other duos, where typically one of them does the production. And then also aside from that too, like I'm a record nerd. So like they be barring out on some street shit, and then they throw in the little record shop mentions, the little digging bars. You know what I mean? Like one of my favorite lines is when Les be like, I remember when I used to strip cars. Now I hit the studio and spit bars over the guitars. Like that shit's fucking church, man. I remember when I used to strip cars. Now I hit the studio and spit bars over the guitars. Like, who the fuck says shit like that? And when Juju, you know, when Juju talking about, oh man, I mean, it's like I love it. I love them for that. And also they both are so distinct on the mic with their voices, their flow, how they rap, but it complements each other. And then I'm gonna just I know this is my interview, not the other group interview, but I'm gonna just throw this in there because it's my niggas and I always want to rep for them. Another thing I love about them is they really have unique song structures. One thing about me, especially as I get more and more like into the science of rap music, is like when I hear motherfuckers and their whole album be 16/8, 16/8, 16/8, I don't be liking that shit no more. It just get too cookie cutter for me. I need variety. I need, so the beat nuts will give you 4 bars, then another nigga coming for 8, then another one coming for 4, hook, then coming for 12, then hooked, then 6 bars here, then 2-bar break, and then like they just be doing shit. And that's what I like, because once again, that's not songs, that's music. There's a musicality, there's an arrangement factor in their music. And you know, that's why I tried certain groups, Wu-Tang, certain groups that when you listen to their music, you know, Dre, you know, when you listen to, for example, you listen to Doggy Style, right? This nigga fucking, Corrupt's verse on Doggy Dog World is like 1,000 bars long. Yeah. It's like, but it sounds so good, and it don't matter that you don't hear the fabulous dramatics. You don't hear them for like 2 minutes once Corrupt start rapping. Right. It's like, but it just goes. So I be loving
also Corrupt is out of this world though. Like, so like we gotta let Corrupt go, and if Corrupt goes off, then you just let him go until he stops.
100%, King. You said it, because that's what it is. And the real people that make music know this ain't about cutting greatness so you can fit some little template that you have in your mind and you think is going to enhance you. Because was there any shortage of that song being on the radio? No. Could that song have been on the radio anymore? No. That shit played 50 times a second. So it's like, it goes to show you, man, motherfuckers be falling for them tricks. Like, you have to make your music like this. You just got to make that shit crazy fire. And in terms of getting it played, that's a whole other conversation. But whether it's 16-ball versus a 36-ball, I mean, look at when Triumph was running Wu-Tang. Fucking no hook on that song. Niggas were just gassing on that shit. But it was planned. It's like the way it's going to get played that's the politics between you and your bank account and the motherfucking radio station. That's what that is. So it don't matter if you've 6 balls or 16 or 12, fuck all that. So that's why I love, you know what I mean? Mobb Deep is another great example of like Havoc on certain joints. Was like, no, P got 2 verses. I only got 1. I don't need to come with another verse. Right. P got this. I'm good. I made the beat. I'm straight. I got my 16 off. I'm good. You know what I mean? Like, it ain't about, because sometimes you be in the studios with motherfuckers and everything be like on some, oh, how long is your verse? Oh, yours is 20. Oh, mine's is 16. Let me write 4 more bars. Like, nigga, if your verse is hot at 16, you don't have to worry about making it 20. Just because I've been that dude as a young whippersnapper. Like, have a hot 16. Next man say his verse 24. Now I'm scribbling to try to extend my verse, and then the final 8 bars of my verse don't be fire like the 16 was, and then I'll be like, I played myself trying to, But anyway, nothing.
Hey, question for you. When we had Money B on the show, he told us the story, so we know it. And if they haven't seen the episode, they should have seen it. Could you just tell us how Shock G handpicked you, and what's one thing that he taught you?
Yeah, I was making an effort to play him in the movie, and so I put together a little tape of me doing that. When I caught up to him and showed it to him, he was like, yo, you got that. And then he hit me like maybe like a month later and was like, yo, you should perform with Money B. Because at the time, he was doing his piano solo thing, which is on his piano thing. So he was like, yo, you should rock and, do the Hump thing with Mun. So he chose me, and then he started mentoring me and preparing me for the movie once I got the role, and just giving me even more games. So he was giving me performance game, taught me how to whip up the noses and all that type of shit, but then gave me just some perspective. And one of the things I learned from him, man, is I learned a lot of things from him, but something that comes to mind that I probably could share with the viewers, as opposed to something that's just particular to me and my nostril situation. But let me give y'all one that everybody could benefit from, that they're trying to look out. It's like this. He one time said to me, he's like, yo, I bet you be having a bunch of ideas, a bunch of songs unfinished. I was like, bruh, tell me back. He's like, let me ask you a question. You ever be feeling guilty because you got like a bunch of unfinished songs? I'm like, my nigga, that should be killing me all the time. He's like, well, listen, don't ever feel guilty. This is the thing. It's a great thing to always have unfinished ideas, because what happens is when you get busy, you don't always have time to sit up and come with new ideas. So if you have a bunch of unfinished, half-finished ideas that you believe in, you always have some heat in the stash that you can jump on and finish and make it a song. Like, and then he said, you hear the old saying about, they say it takes a person like their whole life to make their first record. And then when they're trying to make the second record, a lot of times people be struggling because they be busy and they don't have time to like hang out and just conceive a lot of ideas and come at that same level of quality. So the second album suffers because it's lacking the potency, because they put all their best shit out. So when you have dope shit that you ain't released, it's like you always got some potent shit in the stash. You know what I mean? So that really changed my perspective on things and brought me a peace of mind. And I share that with everybody as often as I can, because a lot of times we walk around here feeling guilty because we haven't completed every little thing we have, every idea. And it's, we're prolific beings. Some of us more so than others, obviously. But even people that don't have a whole lot of ideas, they might have 3 ideas, but they've only done one of them, and then 2 is haunting them,
Right. No, that's facts though, because I mean, especially when you're a creator too. You're like, when you creating, you want to get it out because you feel like 9 times out of 10 that you want to let the world hear it, you know what I'm saying? So when you let it go, sometimes it's cool to just, lay back and chill and just keep creating. It's all gonna work out. So I understand
100%.
that, like, for real. You know what I mean? So Ultimate Gangster, shout out to Chill, man. Like,
I made it.
You were on one of my favorite songs on the album too. I was like, yo, when we was talking to Chill on here, I was like, yo, that shit with you and Hump? Like, he was like, yo, I was like, yo, that came out of my mind because I didn't know at the time. Yeah, I didn't know at the time. I was like, yo, I was like, I forgot Hump raps too. And I'm like, fuck. And when I heard that track in that record, man, like, you
let me tell you,
man. Like,
let me tell you about that.
Just tell us about it.
I'm gonna tell you. First of all, they're just the things in your life you can't believe. I mean, for me to be on Ultimate Gangster shit,
facts,
is just the illest shit in the world. Come on, it's with the Chill, MC8, so that's Compton's Most Wanted as a whole. We got Dog Pound, Daz and Corrupt. We got OG Kid Frost. We got Cocaine. We got Cool 187. These are all my big brothers. I mean, did I mention anybody? I know I'm forgetting somebody, but many. Man, it's like I said, Kid Frost, right? I mean, It's like to be in the company of those brothers, and really too, like I play with it. I'll be like Young Gangsta Mac, but I didn't come up on no gangster shit. But I came up listening to the music. Anybody know me? I ain't never perpetrated being no hella tough nigga, but I am an LA motherfucker, and I grew up listening to that shit, and it is what it is. And when you move for real in hip hop, you move in certain circles because that's just what it is. So to be put down on a project like that with the OGs like that I love, I mean, that's what I live for. To say I'm on an album with Corrupt and Daz and Cole 187 and Chill and 8 and Kid Frost. I mean all of them. I can bust lyrics from all of them. Like, I know songs from all of them. Like Late Night Hype. I got a playlist on my phone. I got a playlist on my phone called Magnificent. And that shit, when I'm in the mood and I need to get right, fuck around with these honeys, like, I listen to that shit. And like, that's one of my, and so when I met Chill off rip, he was just such a cool brother. So when he extended me to hop on some shit, I was like, nigga, what? I was like, so what was amazing about it too was I have this little thing I do sometimes where, like, when I get the opportunity to be on like certain kind of beats that are like very, 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 very westy, like, I like to do something. My mind is like, okay, I got to come with that classic shit, but then I also want to throw a little something in there that's a little progressive, because you can like any type of beat you can lay into the pocket of that beat, like, meaning, so like, you can hear a trap beat, for example, and you could just do the generic double time that everybody does, but you could get on that and be like, let me do something a little different. Or if you get on like a super like real New York sounding, like lyrical, like 95 type beat, when you hear it, you be like, okay, I'm supposed to bar out crazy like this because that's what it sound like. So for me, whenever I have those type of beats that the beat sounds like a certain way of rapping, my mind is always like, I gotta honor that at least a little bit. So give like at least a little bit of it has to let you know that I can fuck with that lane. But then I want to give you something that's different to let you know that I'm creative and I'm gonna bring a new twist to it. So like, if you notice the way I start my rap, I started like with a kind of like a twisty style to kind of be like different. And because I set it off, I'm like, it kind of like it's like, and then the second half I like da 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 da. But like I come in, I'm the dude your favorite rapper be staring at, saying to themselves, "Yeah, I wish I was wearing that." And ain't no comparison, so please stop comparing that. And don't mind me, bro. I just mind staring at that. See, I'm a wild boy, and I'm hearing that. And like I'm going in, just kind of like just kind of fucking with it. And then I come like pocket. Let me rock the beat. And Chill loved it, and I was so happy because, like I said, I mean, rocking with him, man. You know, put it like this, man. There's legends and then there's super legends. And, everybody that knows who the Chill knows, everybody that knows who the Chill is knows he's a super legend. I mean, just historically, musically, and then his personal story, he's a super legend. So it's like to rock with people like that you've admired, forever. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like forever. It's like, it's like, what do you even say? It's just an honor, man. You live for those moments. It's like real moments in your life that are like highlight moments of your life.
Right. Because I was wondering, you know what I mean? Because, when I heard that album, man, and I was like, yo, this is so different, but it was so West Coast and it was so, you could tell it had like good sounds, you know what I mean? Like with hip hop, like it, you know what I'm saying? Especially West Coast. That's why I be like, y'all be winning all the time because every rapper is different in their own West Coast type feel. Like,
well, you know what's funny you say that is because see, it's interesting. It's like when you come from a place or an experience that gets doubted or fronted on, and you have something to prove. If you're the truth, then when you have something to prove, if you're the truth, if you're not the truth, then you say, hey. But if you're the truth, that extra bit of motivation and rejection, I'll give you a perfect example. The reason why Wu-Tang Clan is the greatest thing that ever happened in hip hop is because the niggas was from the forgotten borough. Because the thing about it is like, and they talk about it, but just to hear it from my perspective, it's like Staten Island is the fifth borough, but people always shout out Long Island. People wouldn't even shout out Staten Island. Like, people don't really have that perspective. Motherfuckers would be like, Brooklyn, Queens, Manhattan, Long Island, Bronx, and they wouldn't say Staten Island, and Long Island isn't even a borough. Staten Island is a borough, but because Long Island produced Rakim and Public Enemy and EPMD and Biz Markie and all these other, like, De La Soul, on and on and on, it was like the place. So the Staten Islanders, they really came into that shit like, fuck that, man. We're going to let these motherfuckers know who we are. And they came with a force that has never been rivaled and will never be matched. And so it's like West Coast rap niggas are like that. Because y'all, I don't know if y'all remember, but I remember being young. And I remember seeing on Common View, little buster ass comedians used to make fun of West Coast rappers. When Cube had nothing, It Was a Good Day, they used to be like, man, West Coast niggas, they rap all slow. Today was a good day. And I used to be like, you motherfuckers. Remember that shit they used to?
Yeah, I remember that shit. Yeah.
And it was low hanging fruit because the thing is, like, Cube came in the game rapping fast. That was when he got on. He came with the Ozzy Brothers shit. That's that song. Mm-hmm. But they used to play us as a whole. Like, everything we was doing was just slow and whatever. So that's how you got, motherfuckers like Project Blowed coming for the throw with the sorcerer styles all over the place. Right. And just in general, like, it just created a certain level of like, oh, they fronting on us. And then as we see in the South, like, you know, we all remember when Andre got up there and talked this shit, and look at the South now. So there's a certain thing. So West Coast rappers, we have a certain, I mean, those of us that are the truth. But see me, I'm really cut from the DU cloth, because what's interesting about Digital Underground is Shock G, Money B, and Tupac, they're all East Coast dudes who came out West and made it happen. You know what I mean? And Shock, you know, I mean, Mun came out here at the youngest. He was like 2, but Pac came out here when he was like, what, 15, 16. Shock really came out here officially when he was like 20 something. So it's like, was born and raised in LA, but my whole family's from the East Coast. So I have a certain, and you know, there's people in my family that every once in a while like to make a little LA joke or whatever, and I be sitting back like, and like looking at him like, okay, you're gonna just go there on me, right? But I have a certain kind of direct input of certain East Coast sensibility, but that also makes me always want to, like, I don't let nobody talk crazy about my city. You know what I mean? So that's the thing the West Coast rappers have. And then swinging it back to Chill, because you made an interesting thing. See, Chill, he's from the era where hip hop, like, how can I put this? It's like at that time, what we know as the West Coast sound hadn't been cemented like that. Like the wonk hadn't all been cemented like that. So when you listen to old Compton Most Wanted, you can't really determine. I mean, shit, even when you listen to I mean, shit, even when you listen to half of the Chronic, people say half of the Chronic sound like East Coast beats, because it hadn't, because once Nothing But a G Thing came out, from that point on, everything started being like, this is the West, really West Coast sound, like really definitive with the certain keyboards and shit. So anyways, I was saying Chill comes from the era where they was sampling. CMW was sampling the same shit the Tribe was sampling it. That bass line. So when Chill brought that back on the last project, when he brought that back, it was like, it was a nod to that. And that's one thing I love about Chill's music, because people like myself, like, it sounds funny, right? Chill, if you're listening, it's almost like he make music for people like me that spend, like, I was always that nigga. I'm listening to Keith Murray and Ant Banks in 95. You know what I mean? Like, I listen to, like, I fuck with the real Westy shit, the super Battle Cat shit, the super Westy. But then Battle Cat has a million styles, but just like when you think of Battle Cat, the real Westy shit. But then I'm also over here listening. I'm over here listening to I'm listening to Dame Grease. You know, the niggas done starred or something. Like, I'm listening to, like, I've always had that. I love it all. Like, you know, like yin and yang or whatever. So Chill is one of the few people that makes music now that, like, is a nod to both, like, soundscapes, but in a way that's really the truth. When he fucks with them some old samples, there's that one song on the new project. Oh, the title I can't remember right now, but the shit sound like it could have been some shit CMW did 1990, and the shit's so crazy. And then the song after that is just some 2023 West slap shit. And I'm like, it's an art form to be able to put all that together on the same plate. You know what I mean? Only the masters can do that. So being on a project with a man that's moving like that right now is important. It's an honor, and it's important that niggas like that get bigged up for that. Because here's the thing: let's just keep it funky, right? There's a lot of people that still do what they did 30 years ago, but there's only so many people that are doing it better or at the same level than they was doing it then. And Chill's really one of those people, and I don't say that shit on some, like, I'm saying that for real. Like, there's a lot of people that really. They still doing their thing. We listen to their project, we love them, but we like, you heard it. Yeah, no. Chill shit is crazy right now.
Crazy, yeah.
Like Money B. Money B is snapping on that mic. I tell motherfuckers, man, there's a song we got coming called She Said. When you hear Money B on that shit, it's top 5 Money B verses you've ever heard. I be wanting to spit his verse when I talk about it, but I don't want to quote the rap before the song come out. But he goes. Oh, man, anyways. Sorry.
How hard was it to build chemistry with Money B?
Not at all. That shit was, when we first met, the infamous story, when we met, because see, Shock had jokes. So he's looking at me like, who's this guy? Like, because Shock had told him about me, but he thought that maybe Shock was like playing like a joke, like Shock was a practical joker. But once he saw that it wasn't that, we had instant chemistry. Like the second time we were together, it was immediate. It's my big brother. And I learned just as much from him, if not more, than I learned from Shock. You know what I mean? Straight up.
Hey, tell us about the fabulous imagination of young Hump.
You know, the title was a nod to Slick Rick, The Great Adventures of Slick Rick. Sounds like the fabulous imagination. But see, I didn't do it. I titled it from one of the lines in the song. I didn't say I'm going to do a title based on that. It just came out like the fabulous imagination of young Humpernickel, sandwiched between two chicks. I'll bring the fucking pickle. You know, sandwich, because I'll be boring out. Niggas look at me and be like, he's funny, but I got balls. I said the fabulous imagination of young Humpernickel, sandwiched between two chicks. I'll bring the fucking pickle. And you know, and I brought the Humpernickel to the game. I want everybody to know, man. Humpernickel is my contribution, because a lot of people be, there's trolls out there that pop up on me thinking all I do is just like I don't bring them to the game. I brought a lot to the game. Shock taught me to make sure to make it mine and to develop it and to do things that hadn't been done with it. But yeah, so that album, The Fabulous Imagination of Young Humpernickel, The Fabulous Imagination of Young Hump, is really just like, I wanted to do an album and just have fun, man. And like, it's funny, I did a mixtape before that, and the mixtape is a little heavier on the spits. Like I'm just spitting a little more, like my bar game is stronger. There's a certain energy when you just rapping over pre-existing beats that you already know, and you just like picking them and you just going in on some straight MC shit, versus I produced a little bit of my solo album, but I'm arranging it. I'm like, it's like a different, it's like I'm wearing multiple hats. So you know what I mean? But so for some people, they like the mixtape better than the Fabulous Imagination of Young Hump. Some people like the album better, but I ran into more people that like the mixtape better. You know what I mean? I've suffered from that shit. A lot of MCs, get that. I like the mixtape better than the album, but the mixtape isn't online. You got to holler at me in my DMs.
What about Come Here with Too Short?
Oh, yeah. That, man, woo, once again, dreams come true. I mean, I would have never thought I'd have had a song with Short Dog and then to have a video for it.
Yeah.
What? I mean, that shit was just legendary, man. It was like Mun got the beat from my brothers, the Mechanics, about Oakland. They the signature sound. They are like, they're in Oakland like what Battle Cat is in LA. Like they're just the sound. They are mob music. They are that. And so that's family, and they from Digital Underground too. Matter of fact, Forax, who sang on that song, he
oh yeah, shout out to Forex. I talked to him on the Clubhouse before. Shout out to him.
Man, y'all need to interview them brothers, because their story, they'll get pulling out some history on you that'll fuck you up. But Forax was DJ for DU for a while. That's how he got his break in the game. And so that's family. And basically what happened with that was, I guess Mun got the track, you know what I mean, and we laid it, and he sent it to Too Short on a Tuesday. And it's funny because he had actually never done a song with Too Short. So Money B, being just a generous brother, he got me on the first song he ever did with Short. He'd actually recorded vocals on a Too Short album in the past, but he never had did like a song where they both like rhyming on the song. Even though he'd known Short and hung out with him a trillion times, they just had never did a song. You know how that should be. Like, there be certain people that you wonder, like people wonder why it took forever for Busta Rhymes and Pete Rock to do a song. Sometimes you just know cats, they just family, and it just never ends up happening, just on some, they just so close shit. But so anyways, Mun sent him that song on a Tuesday, and he sent it back on Thursday. And it was like a shock, because it was like we were thinking it was gonna be some months or whatever, but it was just so hot. And that's one of those songs, man, that song surfaces every once in a while online, and it's such a heater. And I just wish that song would find its way, in Super Mario Brothers down the right tunnel and arrive where it needs to be, because that song really competes with with anything of that type of movement. You know what I mean? You're supposed to hear that right after you hear every YG song, it's like one of those songs, but it just hasn't caught. It's got some life out there, but it ain't caught that major win that it needs to be one of those songs that everybody knows. Because girls love it. I mean, you play that shit in the club, girls never heard it, and they just immediately, hey, like it's just immediate.
What about this avocado ranches? I read this somewhere in an interview you did where you talked about avocado ranches. You own a bunch of these, or what? Or is that just a joke?
I'd be projecting my future.
Manifesting.
You know what I mean? Manifesting. Yeah, I know who my wife is. I know what kind of ranches I'm going to have. And I know what.
Okay, you don't actually own these avocado ranches?
I do. I just can't text you an address yet.
Okay.
But I do own them. I do own them.
Right? Hey, I wanted to tell you, man, because I know, y'all like the hip hop funk. So how is it, you know what I'm saying? What was like one of your first times you meeting George Clinton? I know you got like a George Clinton story, man. How is it like, and I think you did you do, did y'all do a tour with, or y'all had a show with,
can y'all hear me? Can y'all hear
me?
No.
We can hear you. We can hear you now. We can't see you.
I don't know. Oh, okay. Sorry. Okay.
You took a phone call. You took a phone call.
No, it wasn't that. It was like my thumb hit the button and it just.
Oh yeah. You good?
I have that same.
You good? I was about to say.
I'll tell you this with George Clinton.
Yeah.
I actually don't really have a George Clinton story. Like, I mean, I was around. I observed him as a kid, but I never really, as a grown man, got to chop it up with him. Yeah,
really.
I'm looking forward to that. I mean, Bootsy, that's another Bootsy, I know, but George, I just would not be around George like that. But Bootsy, I spent some time with, but I ain't really been around George like that.
Oh, really? Okay, because I was wondering because I seen that y'all had like a look like it was a show.
No.
With the Parliament.
But I just haven't. I've yet to have that moment with George to really like. Now Bootsy, on the other hand, I've experienced. Bootsy, man, one of my.
That's the other favorite.
I'll just say a quick Bootsy story.
Tell
I remember. I was at someone's house and Bootsy was there, and his limo driver, like to back, it was like backing up this hill, and it was like a stretch limo, and it got kind of like stuck on this little hill, and like it was like kind of like the wheels were suspended off the front, and the shit couldn't move. So the limo driver's like, "Look, I'm gonna need y'all to get into the back of the limo and kind of like bounce up and down to get the bouncing of the shocks to move, so I can get the shit to go." So me, Bootsy, and his queen get in the back, his wife, and we get in the back seat of the limo, and we in the back so I'm having a conversation with Bootsy like, so yo man, so just like bouncing in the back of the limo trying to get the shocks going, and I'll never forget that. Like, so if a nigga ever hear me say bouncing in the limo with Bootsy, I was bouncing in the limo with Bootsy. That ain't no fucking fictional shit. You know what I mean? I was bouncing.
Right. I was about to say, man, that's cool, man, because I mean, having a story about Bootsy or anybody from Parliament, man, that's even dope. Because for real, hey, what was one of your favorite songs back in the day? Because mine is always Knee Deep. You know what I'm saying? Of the Parliaments. So what's one of your funk? I'm in your funk bag.
I mean, just to go right there. I mean, not even to go like, you know how sometimes you be like, let me say some shit that no one else is saying. I'm gonna just flashlight, my nigga. Like, it's just, and like, and even that's so easy. That's like anybody could say that, but there's a reason why everybody knows. Like, I remember the moment. I remember the moment I identified that song. Like, you know how there be songs and you hear them and you don't know what it's called, and then there's like the moment where you like, that song is called Flashlight, and you're listening to it like, this is like, I remember looking at the speaker and just being like, this is it. Like, this is it. Like, I remember thinking something equivalent, like if music is color, this is the definitive red. Like, this is red. Like, or whatever color that song is, this is that. Like, you cannot be any more that. Whatever that is, you cannot be any more that than this song. Like, it's like you look up that in the dictionary, it's Flashlight. Like, that shit is just, there's nothing that fucking touches that song. Because it's like the combination of the way it moves and how the sophistication of it. Because then when you get into understanding who Bernie Worrell is, Bernie Worrell, that's why that shit was meant to be shit, because Bernie Worrell is like all of them, but Bernie Worrell in particular, he's like the guy that added this sophistication to it that made the funk like so musicians of another, and not even just musicians, but people who are listening, because not to say it like this, but there's a lot of funk music, just like there's a lot of rap music that's real, just like boom, 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 boom. Just real like. But Bernie's shit is like, no, Bernie is like Pharoah Monch and shit. You know what I mean? It's like, no, I'm Raekwon and Ghostface. It's like that, Kendrick Lamar. It's Corrupt. It's like that shit that's like, it's really intelligent and sophisticated and well thought. Like, it's not coming from my battery running low. It's not coming from a place that's like basic. So yeah. Well, by the way, real quick, I gotta just say real quick, I have a song on my album. The name of the song is called "The Nose is RBG." So I just wanted y'all to know the nose is red, black, and green. That's a very interesting song.
We could have a nose off anytime you want, but it's like it's saying on the text messages to you. Like I took a couple hockey sticks over the years into my Canadian face,
Oh wow!
I was about to ask you what was one of your favorite noses too.
Yeah,
that's funny. Man, you know what's crazy? I actually got two new ones that's gonna be making world premieres very soon. I got my big homie 40-ounce Chris from the Noses. The Noses is a 3-man special unit of brothers that have been down with DU for, I want to say, I don't know, 25, 30 years. I'm not sure exactly. And it's basically a 3-man special unit. They appear when they can, primarily on the West Coast because they're based out of San Diego. And it's three-man special unit. They're kind of equatable to like the Trekkies of Star Trek. Like, they come through in full gear. They come through with the noses. And the architect of them is a man named 40-ounce Chris. And he makes noses. And he made many of the noses you saw Shock wear. Like, if you Google Shock G Humpty Hump, when you see pictures, half of the noses he's wearing were made by the one 40-ounce Chris, and 40-ounce Chris has made about half of the noses or that I have, and because like he makes them the best. Like, he's gifted. Like, as great as Shock make them, Shock makes some motherfuckers, but 40-ounce Chris, he make them like he's just. It's like he's just another. That motherfucker be like finding like certain kinds of materials to put on top. Like, he's different. Shock paint him up crazy, but 40-ounce Chris be like finding adhesives, tape, and all types of ill shit, and making these. So, anyways, he sent me 2 noses. So, and then shout out to the homegirl Rain. So, I don't really know if I have a favorite nose. That's kind of a hard one to a hard way to look at it. Because they all like my children. How can you love one more than the next? But
Facts.
But I do have ones that have been with me longer than other ones, and I have more memories with.
A story about the time that have you ever got busy in a Burger King bathroom, or have ever been asked to? Because I got busy in a handicap bathroom on a Princess Cruise once. So I had the Humpty Hump song going in my head.
That's amazing. I have never fucked in a bathroom. I had a girl rubbing on it on a plane, and I was like, is it about to go down? And then Big Mama Stewardess came through and smacked her hand away from me. That shit was fucked up. I was like, damn, I was about to get it popping. I never really I've had sex in a couple, exotic places, but no type of public
No Burger King
public,
bathroom.
like, yeah, no,
Handicap bathroom.
no restaurant. No, I tried to take a chick down in a my girlfriend at the time at a broom closet in some spot, but it ain't really like I said, it ain't really go down for because the security guard stopped it, and there's always some little pesky hater motherfucker. But yeah, no, I really that you know soon come, or maybe not. We'll see.
Tell us about bus popping.
Hey,
Tell you about what?
Tell us about bus popping and then Prince shoot one.
Oh yeah, bus popping with my man Shandy. He hit me up to do a song, and that song is fun because you know what's amazing is you never know what's gonna come. Like I've never met him in person. So a guy hit me up online like, yo, let's do some shit. I was like, all right, and we got busy, and I liked the beat, and it's a weird beat. It's not like it's the kind of beat. I'll put it like this: if you'd have given me like a batch of beats, it's not the first beat I would have picked. But if you said you could take what you want, I would have taken that beat. Like meaning like, okay, if I can have all I want, let me get that one too. But it's not a beat that I would have like immediately picked. But in that way though, it brought something very, very, very unique out of me. And I really love my rap on that song. Like I listened to that shit not that long ago. I'm like, yo, low key, that's one of my illest like rhymes because I just wrote it. Sometimes those weird beats like that be just bringing some like different shit out of you. And because I wasn't thinking about it the way I might think of other things. It was just more free. It was like a freestyle and shit. So yeah, Shandy, man, big up where you at, King.
How awesome was Drink Champs? Last question.
Drink Champs was amazing. You know what's crazy about that was I was trying to big up to my bro DJ EFN.
That's our guy too. We got him on the podcast.
Right. Shout out to him. Happy birthday. He just had a birthday.
Yeah, that's one of the realest dudes in the culture. For real.
Facts. For real.
I had met him 2018 and stayed in touch with him, and I was trying to get, Shock and Mun on there. And it's funny because in my mind, I just imagined myself as being one of like the posse motherfuckers in the back, just there. And I was trying to get Shock, but Shock he really wasn't trying to do interviews like those kind of interviews. He didn't want to do VH1 Unsung. He was very like, he just kind of had this thing with not doing those type of things. And so after he passed, and they extended it again. And, I was honored to go over there and represent for him and the squad. And it was a great opportunity, man. I had so much fun, man. And, the boys, man, shout out to the whole Drink Champs team. They got a real team and they move like a unit and they good brothers, strong, and they real niggas. So I fuck with them in a real way. Like they good people, man. All of them.